What's going on, guys? We're in a different room of my house today. That's the kitchen back there. We're hanging out on this couch, which is more like a bed. It's the best couch I've ever sat on in my entire life. Anyways, I thought today we would read some of my hater comments. And before you say, Josh, why are you letting them live rent-free in your head? Well, by doing this video, they actually pay my rent, because we're monetizing the haters. I get AdSense, they get dunked on. We all have a laugh. And as always, having an opinion on the internet, or having an opinion at all these days, or even a sense of humor, just pisses everybody off. You're not allowed to have either of those things. All right, let's start off with the gained weight comments. It says, dude, Josh gained so much weight, holy crap. This is what you used to look like, dude? You've gained a lot of weight. He looks amazing for a developer. You have gained weight. Saw your last video 6 months ago. Well, if you go look at my last hater video, I was around 210 pounds then, and I'm now, well, this morning I was 178 pounds. And you can go check because I'm wearing the exact same outfit, and I did it on purpose, so you can put them side by side and see that I'm actually been shredding down. You get a lot of, you look fat comments, but you don't get a lot of, hey, you lost some weight, you look good. It's just, oh man. It's the internet though. So I made a community post, I don't know, 2 days ago, asking what you guys would like to see, and it was like a little poll of corporate cringe, garbage jobs, skits, vlogs. There was some pretty good feedback there, and I appreciate that. But there were some comments that obviously just, got to take a moment to hate. We got this dude here on Copada says, I'm happy for your success in YouTube because let's be real, you are a pretty trash dev. I don't know who you are. Pretty sure you didn't work with me though. But my question to you is, why is leaving a job that you weren't passionate about, didn't enjoy, had no motivation to do, what you were building was boring, why does that make me trash if I choose to pursue something that I do enjoy? Honestly, I think I was a decent dev. I just really didn't have that much motivation. The apps that I was working on at work were internal apps. They were so boring. It just did not, and then it's just got all the corporate parties and the corporate team building and all that stuff. And so I chose to leave. There are a lot of other YouTubers that were devs that chose to leave being a dev, and no one calls them out, so I'm not sure what my deal is. Like Kit Boga, right? He was a dev. Now he just does scam calls all day. We got Cody Ko. He was a dev. Now he has a podcast and makes reaction videos. He's hilarious, but no one ever calls him out on that. So I'm not really sure what the deal is. I get a lot of this. You were just trash because I didn't want to work at Google or Apple or not everyone wants to work at these companies. I just wanted to work at a small remote company and kind of do my own thing and figure out a way to have more time to do stuff that I actually enjoy. And it turns out I enjoy doing this. Kind of meta, but hey, I feel like people's passions can change over their lifetime of what they enjoy. Not everyone has to do the same career for 30 years. And if you just don't like it anymore and don't want to do it, having no motivation to do your job usually affects how good you do your job. But I still think, my bosses were plenty happy. This next comment we got here is from Kevin M. He says, I don't know why this dude's videos keep being recommended to me. Biggest beta on YouTube talking about other men or being a victim. How do you have a woman? Poor girl. Would you like to comment on that?
2 words. 13 inches.
All right, moving on to the next one here.
I don't get that beta thing.
I feel like people who call other people beta males in the comments section of that person's video make themselves into a beta male. This next comment comes from Jan. This was on Dave Ramsey's video about how he fired 12 people for having intercourse outside of marriage. How does his company find out about these things? Are they putting video cameras in people's houses? I don't understand how he knows these people are doing this. But anyways, Jan says, a divorcee living without marriage speaks in defense of premarital intercourse. What a surprise. You're just jealous that, got a woman over here. This next comment comes to you from Regina Pontes. She says, I swear, you're the equivalent of the male Meghan Markle. You are a narcissistic to the max. You making a buck off of private individuals. What is the matter with you? Seek counseling, not trying to fix yourself over the internet. I'm not trying to fix myself over the internet, but it is pretty cathartic. Also, private individuals. I have all the rights necessary to talk about stories and events that have happened to me. I've used this example before, but imagine if a criminal did something to you in private and then you tell a story about it and make a buck. Are you going to shame them for making a buck off of a private individual that was a criminal? I try to be open-minded enough to think about if I'm a narcissist, and I don't think I am. Am I?
No.
I don't want to be that if I'm that. Another comment from the videos about being disowned by my family from Ginger U. They say, Josh, you are still very immature. You have no idea about life, trust me. Why should I trust you? I don't know who you are. Don't you know all money goes back in the Monopoly box at the end? It was never yours at all. Anything that you think is yours isn't really yours. You only get it to use it while you're playing the game, and when you are all over, the beautiful money goes back in the box. Don't think for 1 second that you are better than others because you have money.
The beautiful money.
What?
Wow.
I don't think that I'm better than anyone. I think I'm a pretty normal dude, but I don't talk about money. I just had to in this scenario to reference how much I was giving them, not because how much I have. Look at the bigger picture, man. Don't be so proud of yourself. You have a very tiny mind, sir. Please try to keep up with other children, sir. Another comment comes from Mace Scranton on the finding even more lies about my parents doing drugs. He goes, you have big moutholitis. It's kind of funny.
What?
Yeah.
Is that the medical term?
It must be. Let's see. I'll publicly shame someone so I heal mentally. If you don't want to be shamed, don't do shameful shit, especially to the person paying your bills. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. You know what I'm saying? Also, they lied and stole from me, and I still helped them out. They maxed my credit cards. I still helped them out. I forgive them over and over and over. So I think it's fair to be able to talk about experiences that you've had, especially when you stop forgiving them and stop handing them money. They are the ones that cut you off, and then I am I get shamed for it. I don't know. I'll never understand you people that think this. Mental healing is personal, not a public TV. Sadly mistaken if you think impugning others will get you to the other side. The question becomes, who is the common denominator in all your woes? You are. Grow up and get over it. Oh man, that's a good one, right? When people say just grow up. Alan D. Gregory on the Disowned by Your Family videos, he says, with over 1 million views, you have made a killing selling your family's personal story to the world. I'm sure you can afford to pay the rent. It's not about being able to afford paying the rent. It's about being lied to so that you give them money, which you think is for their rent, which then turns out to be for heroin or meth or other drugs or for whatever it was. Like, it doesn't, just because I have enough money to pay someone else's rent doesn't mean that they're entitled to it. Also, 1 million views doesn't make as much money as you think it does. Maybe I'll make a video on going over all my 1 million view videos and how much they've made over their lifetime. But here's a comment from the Dave Ramsey video. I like how Dave is worth hundreds of millions of dollars and you're some punk kid recording videos in his trashy bedroom, probably in your mom's house. That's always what they go to. Whenever you criticize someone that has more money than you or is seen as successful than you, they just go, well, look at him. Look at how much money he has and look how much money you have. So he must be better. Like, just because you have money doesn't mean that you're immune to criticism.
Have we ever filmed in the bedroom?
Nah, we've never actually filmed. Maybe once, like 3 years ago at my house in Salt Lake City. My second house, by the way. Kev says, I lost both my parents in the last 6 years. You need to get your head out of your butt and do something while you still can, or you will regret it when you're older. I did everything I could. Every single thing I could. And you know what helped them the most? Is when I cut them off. Is when I stopped giving them money. Because then they had to figure it out. And they went to rehab, and rehab didn't work or whatever. But like, it seems that they got jobs and stuff now. Who knows? But that seems like that was the best thing I could do at the time, was to stop enabling. We got another dude. Oh, this is from like an ancient video. Real interview with a recruiter for 120K. Josh, I challenge you to write a Bloom filter in C and post the code. It should be less than a page of code. Think you can do it in a day? Don't make me laugh. Special ed. I'd probably just go to Stack Overflow, copy it, paste it. What's the point? Josh, you wouldn't last 2 weeks in a position that required you to write C or C++. Well, not really. They're not all the same as C# or the markup, you know? Yeah, I do know that. This next comment is from a Dave Ramsey video. Mr. Minkers. Let's all listen to the broke guy in a basement about how debt is good. What do you think about the basement we're in right now?
Got a lot of light. Very
sure does have a lot of windows. I invest with debt and I lost a lot of money learning how. I mean, that sucks, I guess. Typical Americans shouldn't think about investing until you get experience in breathing money. Dude, I wish I breathed money. That'd be cool.
Typical Americans.
Typical Americans, dude. Here's one from Dave Ramsey's video. Dave is nuts, but had you heard and followed his advice years ago, you wouldn't have so many videos complaining about what a broke loser you were until last year. But it's interesting to think that you know my finances up until last year that I was broke, because that wasn't really the case. I gave a lot of my money to my parents and my family. Kind of put everything on hold for me. There was one time in my life that I talk about on the channel, which I was almost homeless. I had $300 in my bank account. I did everything right. I had a savings. I was responsible, got the degree, had what I thought to be decent jobs that paid well.
Because you were laid off. Not
Well,
because you spent all your money and were
Yeah.
frivolous. And
Yeah, and the thing is, it wasn't because I was a trash dev. The whole entire dev team got let go. And so that's why in this video recently where I talked about Dave Ramsey roasting the $600 thing, it's like $600 would have gave me a little food money. I mean, you can go look at some of my other videos where I have screenshots of me telling I can't give money to my parents right now because I don't have it. I'm unemployed. I'm already paying your rent and mine unemployed. And I'm eating peanut butter and stale Cheerios for dinner, you know? Like, I tried, I was responsible, I planned, and life still happened. And so, again, in Dave Ramsey's video where he's roasting the $600, there are other people like me that planned and that had savings and that they did everything right that they could, and it just didn't pan out. And that $600 would have actually helped them stay afloat to get a job, or you know, it takes 2 weeks to get your first paycheck. So that $600 would have been enough to give you gas and food to get to work until you can get that first paycheck so you can pay your rent. Even in the video, I said I understand Dave's sentiment that people need to be financially responsible. They need to be better with their money. They need to stop spending more money than they make. They need to definitely not spend money that they don't have on credit cards that they can never pay off because the interest rates are insane. But if you can pay that off at the end of every month, you might as well do it to get the rewards, right? But Dave was speaking in such absolutes that it seemed unfair to do that because some of those people had probably followed Dave's advice and were responsible, and for him to kind of crap all over the people that made him wealthy it just seemed out of touch. And last but not least here, one of my favorite things about YouTube is when people assume your political stance based off of maybe comments that you make. That's one of those topics that you're never supposed to talk about on YouTube. And they're like, Josh, who did you vote for this election? And they try to squeeze it out of you. And then they say, Josh, if you don't vote for this person, you're bad. And the other people will say, Josh, if you don't vote for this person, you're bad. And I'm always just like, I voted Meteor 2021 just ended already. You kind of have to avoid these questions. But lately, it seems like more and more people think they can exactly pinpoint where I'm at on the political spectrum here, and usually everyone is wrong. I'm not far left, I'm not far right, and again, I know this is a touchy topic, but it's like you guys got some good over here and some bad over here, you guys got some good over here and some bad over here, and like let's take both of the good and put them together. But like you can't do that, right? You have to pick one these days. And I get a lot of comments that assume that like you're a socialist or like you're a capitalist fraud or whatever, like, and it's like no, you're none of you are right. Like, I grew up in the deep south, which is very, very red, very conservative, and then I lived in Finland for a lot of years too, which is very, very left, kind of more socialist. And I've lived in both, and I can see the pros and cons of both, and so I try to be very moderate with each one. I wish people would stop assuming that about me. Like, I'm more like, let's have a conversation about these things, and then yeah. I hate politics. This isn't a comment of what I mean. This dude Adam West, one dude, $600 is nothing. You try living on $600 in a metro area. $600 is enough to someone who needs $600 to pay their rent, to not be homeless, like, and that doesn't mean they weren't responsible before. 2, at will means at will. No, it means at will without discrimination. That's what it means.
Doesn't mean without consequences.
Yeah, I mean, you can be at will, whatever. You fire someone for whatever you want. Doesn't mean you're not going to get sued for it. He says, I don't agree with Ramsey on the no intercourse rule, but it's his company. You can't police people's intercourse. You just can't do that. I'm a Republican. I don't like hiring Democrats. Should I be forced to hire Democrats? No. No one's saying that you should be forced to hire them. He says, I have a philosophical disagreement with their worldview. They want to redistribute my wealth. You have no clue about the real world. I bet you agree with AOC and the progressive left's agenda. You are so out of touch, just like employers choose who they hire. You have the ability to choose who you work for. Yeah, I mean, you do, but you still got to follow federal law.
Yeah.
You still can't discriminate based on those protected classes.
This isn't Josh taking a side. This is Josh telling you how it is.
It's cool, man. You do whatever you want, but you still got to follow the law. That's what we're saying. Oh, we just got a comment in real time. This dude says $600 doesn't buy you a tomato can in this economy. Yes, it does. It buy you a whole bunch of tomato cans. You know how many tacos you could get at Taco Bell with $600? You are dumb if you think people who don't have $600 to pay their rent don't have problems. I mean, for sure, people that don't have the money to pay their rent definitely gonna have some problems. That's true. This is from the divorced video. Pals, he is lying. Come here, we will teach you how to be a man. Kids don't go for honeymoons. Starving ones don't get overweight. Quit playing victim card. There are people who have struggled more than you in the age lesser than you were. There, being a dumb child, I was working and earning money. My girlfriend worked her way to earn for school. You are a character assassin. Yeah, I do get this comment quite a lot on the divorce video, and I guess I'll just clarify it here. In that video, people say, I don't understand how you gained all that weight if you were starving. Okay, so it was a five-year timeline. In the first few years of the very, very unhappy marriage, I ate, and I ate, and I ate, and I'd eat a pizza, and I'd eat a kebab roll, and I'd eat another pizza, and like all I would do was eat, you know?
That's how people deal with stress a lot of times.
I know, and
Not
I gained
healthy,
a
but-
bunch of weight. Then towards the end of the marriage, when things were not going very good and I had no money to buy food, I was still overweight. Whenever school would open, whenever cafeteria would open, I would go in and I would eat as much food as I could, sneak some bread when they weren't looking type deal, you know? And I would get a lot of calories, but then for the next few days, I would be hungry. And that's how that went. The next one that people like to talk about on the divorce video is, why didn't you work, Josh? Why wouldn't you go get a job? And there's a bunch of reasons for that, and let me explain. I tried to get a job. I tried to work in Finland, and it's really difficult to when you're not an EU citizen, which I was not. Finland has to hire EU citizens before they hire non-EU citizens. So even if I wanted to just sweep floors, they have to find a Finnish person. Because I applied to sweep floors, I applied to stock shelves, I applied to be a cashier, and then they're like, well, is your Finnish language fluent? And I'm like, this is a Russian town anyways, where everyone speaks English as the common denominator, and they were like, well, you don't speak fluent Finnish, so no. And then I was like, I don't care, I'm gonna keep trying to apply, give me a job. And then I gave my resume to the ex-wife, and she looked at it and said, this is trash. And I said, well, can you help me improve it? And she said, no, this is a trash resume, this is trash. You'll never be able to get a job here. You'll never work. And I said, okay, well, I'm still going to try to apply to some jobs. And so I'd pull up the Finnish websites for jobs, and I'd look for jobs, and I'd say, can you translate this for me? I think Google Translate's being weird. I don't think this is what it says. And she'd be like, no, you should know Finnish, but you're too dumb, you know? Like, she'd just say stuff like that to me. And I didn't care, really. I tried to get a job. It was very demeaning and emasculating for me not to have one. And then when you're stressed out and you're depressed, you end up just playing video games. But I did try. And even when none of the Finnish jobs would hire me, I went and I posted little signs around school that offered to teach people English or correct their grammar mistakes for like master students that were writing papers. They would have all kinds of funky language. And I tried to sell my services in that regard. And no, I don't even think that was legal, to be honest. And no one ever called. But like, I tried to figure out ways to hustle. I did Amazon Mechanical Turk. I made some money that way. I filled out some surveys online, made some money that way. Like, I really tried to make money while I was in Finland and contribute and not just be like a leech. Another thing that happened in Finland is that we had a shared bank account, and she wouldn't give me access to that bank account. I'd be like, can you give me the passcode or the papers or the login information? She'd be like, no, you're too dumb to understand it. You're going to mess something up. Like, what? Give me access to my money. I have money that's in there. Like, I got money from the Finnish government for going to school there, since I was a Finnish resident but not a Finnish citizen. And I had money that was going into the shared bank account that I wanted access to, and she would not give me access or show me how to get into the bank account to be able to use my money or put money into my, my checking account for my card. Honestly, I think that she enjoyed that kind of power and control and that kind of... There's just so much more that I wish I could explain to people. This comment comes from Deb Pierce. She says, my husband and I have gone through Dave Ramsey's program. We are debt-free and loving it. It cracks me up when young people like you with very little life experience gives long-term financial advice. There was no long-term financial advice in that video the other day. I love your videos, but you are way off base with comparing Dave to the devil. Perhaps you should stick to uncovering evil employers. And then she left another comment that said, it cost us all of $15 to learn how to become financially free and out of debt. Dave Ramsey is very direct and to the point with the free advice he hands out. If you are insulted easily, I doubt you'll be able to hang in there and do it, and blah, blah, blah. This bitch just goes on forever. But Deb Pierce, I'd like to address you specifically. You say you have very little life experience because I'm young. And I'd like to ask you the question. You paid $15 to learn how to spend less money than you make, and I'm the one with less life experience? Just think about that for a minute, Deb, okay? But that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sure I pissed some people off. I hope not, but I appreciate all you guys nonetheless. And hopefully you can enjoy the change of pace, the views. We got the doggos, we got Sue, we got, there's a Daisy somewhere in here. She had surgery the other day, so she's only got one eye, but she's doing good. And then we got the polar bear somewhere around here. I don't know where he's at. But anyways, I appreciate you guys. Happy Friday. Maybe I'll make another video tomorrow. Maybe not. Maybe I'll go live. Who knows? I'll see you in the next one. Bye.